Hello, grade 11s. Okay, so let's do some of these ones. We're going to be calculating the interest rate, and this is that working backwards, or as you said, the reverse engineering. So 20,000 is invested in shares, doesn't matter what it's invested in. After 8 years, shares are sold for 52,000. Okay, so we started with 20,000, it accumulated, it grew to 52,000. Calculate the compound. Compound means that we're dealing with compound interest rate, right? So 1 plus I to the n. Per annum, that would provide the same return. Okay, what are we compounding? Annually, monthly, quarterly? Well, it doesn't really say, so it's kind of just per annum. There's no monthly or anything, so it's just going to be I, and n is going to be 8. So let's plug in the bits that we know into the equation. So 20,000 Rand is invested. So there's our 20,000 Rand. That's our principal amount. And the 1 plus is obviously going to stay the same. It grows to 52,000. Okay, 52,000. 1 plus I. Well, I we don't know. That's what we're trying to figure out. So I. And our last bit is n. Well, it says it's 8 years. So to the power of 8. Okay, so now we just need to work backwards. Now it's up to you which steps you kind of show along the way. One key thing is don't round off until right at the end. So let's divide both sides by 20,000. Okay, we don't want to take the 8th root yet, because then you'd have to take the 8th root of everything. So we'll do that in the next step. Kind of this working backwards idea. So 52,000 divided by 20,000 is to d 2.6. Now, if that were some sort of rounding off thing, we'd just go dot. We'll do that next. Okay, equals, we left, this is 1 plus, what was our I to the power of 8. Cool. Now we don't want this to the power of 8. So let's do the opposite, and let's take the 8th root. So it's kind of like the opposite, like you to the power of 8, 8th root. What we do on one side, we're going to do on the other. Cool. So let's go. So the 8th root of 2.6. Now, I'll load up Brendan's calculator in the next video, but we're going to go shift x to the power, the root t1, 8, and then we can just put ounce in there. So it does it of 2.6. So we don't write of 2.6. Just put ounce in the calculator. And it says 1. So let's move this up here. 1, 1, 2, something or other. But we want to keep the whole thing in the calculator. Equals 1 plus I to the power of 8. Okay. So there it is. Not to the 8. Not to the 8. We've done the 8th root thing. Okay, so we got 1 plus I. Don't even need these brackets anymore. So 1 plus I, so what can we do to each side of our equation? Well, let's subtract 1, and we've got 0, 1, 2, something or other. So minus 1 equals 0, 1, 2, something or other equals I. And what do we need to do? Well, it would be nice if that was a percentage. So times 100. And now let's round off. So we're going to round off to I equals 12,686. So 69% per annum. And if we want to be completely correct, we'll say compounded annually. But there we go. Okay, so that's the working backwards idea. Okay, next one's going to be similar, except we're going to be compounding monthly. So that's going to make it a bit more interesting.